because if I don't, it's going to sound silly. So one more second. My apologies, everybody. 7,000 webinars later, and I still forget where the buttons are.
Looks
Okay, I
like
think we
Katie's
are
here
live.
too. Yeah, Katie's here too. So,
All right, awesome. Hi, Katie. Thanks for joining us. I'm just going to the live book creators live. Is it live? I can't tell if it's working or not on YouTube. There, yes, there it is. Okay, perfect. All right, let's roll. We're on it now. Okay, so we're going to share our screen. So this is being recorded for all of you that are curious. It is being recorded, and you will be able to see this live on our YouTube channel sometime later today, I think. All right, and a new version of Book Creator is available. How perfect is that warning message for a webinar talking about new features in Book Creator? So let me refresh so that we get all of the new features right there. So power up for back to school. New features here in Book Creator. We are super excited. But before we get started, let's go ahead and tell everybody who we are, Janet, just in case they don't know. So Janet, go for it.
all right. Hi, everyone. I am Janet Bernett. I'm one of the teacher success managers here at Book Creator, and I'm excited to be with you today. I am from Alabama, as you can hear in my voice. I have a little bit of a Southern drawl to it, but I am an educator as well. So I have been in education for over 26 years now and have used Book Creator in my own classroom with my own students and in teachers with teachers in my former district. So I always joke and say that I talked about Book Creator like it was one of my kids. So I was thrilled to actually join and be a part of the team. And so now I get to help teachers everywhere learn how to put it into the lessons that they're already teaching in their classrooms. So with that, I'll pass it to you, John.
All right, thanks. Yes, and I'm Jon Smith, for real. I get that a lot, especially when I try to order pizza. But I do usually get my pizza, so it's all good. I am the senior teacher success manager here at Book Creator, which just means I'm old. And I have been here longer than most. I was number 7 in the company. And so that's how old I am. But I taught special ed for 12 years. I was a tech integration specialist for 7 years after that, and now I'm in my 6th year here at Book Creator. Married, I've got kids, love golf, and I love clean cars. So if you're anywhere near Ohio and you have a dirty car, come see me because I'm a certified auto detailer. All right, and I'll be happy to clean that dirty ride for you. All right. So today, back to school, new features, all of that good stuff. So Janet, what are we going to talk about today?
So, first of all, we're going to talk about back to school resources. Our team has been super busy creating some templates that are going to be great for you to use with your students and maybe on back to school parent nights, anything such as that, even newcomers to your classroom. They've developed some great new resources, and we're going to go over some of those ideas. And then we're also going to highlight some new features that we're super excited about here on our team. It just seems like we've had been tossing out lots of them lately. So today, during our time, we're going to go over a few of those, demo a few of those, and then answer a few questions that you might have at the end.
All right. Thank you, Janet. Yes. So school is back or almost back, or maybe you've been back for a while. It just varies. I mean, even in my own town, my kids went back to school, but their friends who live across the street don't go back to school for like another week and a half. So it varies wildly here in the States, and I'm sure it does all over the world. But before we get into all of the good stuff, we have a question. So now that school is coming back or has already maybe started, in the chat window, let us know what is your go-to back to school activity. I know what mine was, all right, but what is your go-to back to school activity that you love to do with your students? It's day one, students are coming in the door. What is it that you give them? So let's go ahead and throw those into the chat window. We're going to take a look at that before we move on to the next part. I know now I'm testing everybody's typing skills. All right, getting to know one another. Yes, name tags, 100%. I always laugh because I'm so terrible at names. I never wasted money on name tags because I'd forget them anyway when the kids threw away their name tag when they went home. So like I was always like, I never did name tags. Build a soma cube, dance party, all about me, love it. Snowball fight. Oh, I like that one. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it sounds fun. New educational means. Love snowball fight. Yes, all about you. Summer holidays. These are all great. Well, I like that. First one to say setting goals, right, for the new year. What do you want to do and accomplish? All right, a welcome puzzle on the desk. That's cool too. All right, so some really awesome ideas. And I think that our goal here today is to give you some thoughts and ideas and show you some new resources so that maybe you can take some of those tried and true ideas you've had and maybe put that little book creator spin on them, right? Or maybe add something new to your toolbox of back to school ideas that you use with students. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about that back to school. And the first thing we're going to do is actually just go to our website. All right. And so I'm going to put this link into the chat window. Katie's probably going to beat me to it. Nope, I got it. All right, good. Now, on this website, all right. And thank you, by the way, Jackie, for the snowball
Yeah.
question. I've not heard of that one before. So I'm going to go back to the chat and read that. But if you go to our website, or if you just click on the link that I put into the chat window, right at the very top, I guess I should have shown what this looks like, but right at the very top of our website, there's a little banner, right? Bringing the joy back to school. All right. And so you're gonna click on that. All right. It says, take me there. And if you scroll down a little bit, what you're going to see is that you're going to see a couple of different buttons. All right. You're going to see a teacher button. You're going to see a coach button. All right. Because we realize that there are lots of instructional coaches and technology integration specialists out there who are also looking for ideas that they can then give to teachers. And so we put them into different buckets because it might be a slightly different lens, right? Every time you look at that. Before I click on those buttons, if I keep scrolling down, we do have a lot of other really awesome webinars that are coming up. All right, so here's the one. Oops, I hit the wrong button. There we go. This is the one that we're doing here today. But next week, we've got David Hotler, our community manager, and Michelle Gill that are going to do some awesome sessions on, back to school strategies. And then for friends of yours, I'm assuming most of you at this point are not brand new to Book Creator, but you may have some friends who are. And so we do have a Getting Started with Book Creator webinar, which I'm excited about because I don't think we've done one of those in quite a while. We've got one on I can't even speak, igniting and engagement with video responses. All right. And so video responses are great. And I know people are looking for ways to do video responses more in their classroom, portfolio strategies, and such, and so much more. And portfolio strategies will be with Katie, who is also on our team, and she's here today. So if Katie wants to turn on our video, or maybe we probably have to give her permission, but she's there. So thank you, Katie. But we also have, like I said, some options here for coaches and for teachers. So if you click on the teacher button, you're going to be brought to your teacher page. All right. And there's going to be some great ideas here. And one of my favorites happens to be our activity books. I don't know, Janet, you want to talk a little bit about the activity books? Just in general, but I love the activity books because it's a great way to get kids into Book Creator quickly, but in a guided, fun, different kind of way.
That's right. So this is kind of meshing the get to know you part with a little bit of structure to kind of keep everybody on the rails, but still allow that creativity to come in. And again, it's one of those things to where our team has already built the hard part for you. The template is here. And when you use that in conjunction with our new assigned book feature that we're going to be showing just a little bit later, then you can just as quick as you can click that button, make a copy for every student in your classroom. And then as you can see here, the templates are already made for you. The kids then are able to go in and with that one button, be able to find all the tools they need to complete this. The creativity is there, but it kind of, again, I love this one, even a get to know you game to where they can go around with their classmates. They can use that selfie tool in there that they all love. But again, start building those relationships, making those connections, which is really going to help the learning thrive as the year goes on. But it's
Yeah.
doing it in a very fun and creative way.
Awesome. And like Janet said, very easy to get this into your library. So right here at the top, there's that fancy remix button. You just click that button and then your library drop down is going to pop up. Fun fact, power user feature here. There, you can actually start typing in that. I did not know that for a while. I was just like scrolling through looking for my libraries. I can just type them in there, right? So if I say back to school, it pops up, click on it, copy that book. Now I've got a copy of that that I can then go do something with. All right, so super excited. Now that was elementary. We do have one for high school or secondary, and it looks a little more sophisticated. It's got a little, some deeper questions and things like that. So I love the fact that we have these for different grade levels. And again, there's some awesome examples on there. There are some other ideas for going back to school. One of those happens to be my favorite, and that is the back to school night, right? Like I always loved going back to school and having an open house and welcoming the kids and welcoming the parents. And I'm telling you right now that if you have something like this, playing on a board up on in front of the class, or if you send this out even ahead of time, right, to your parents and to your kids so they know who you are, this is going to be awesome. And you could even do I was thinking about at ISTE we did a People of ISTE book where people came in, they take a picture of themselves and put it into a book. You could do something like that, right? And how exciting would that be for kids to, again, just get right in there. But beyond just the normal fun kinds of things of getting back to school, it's also an important time to think about getting set up right for the school year. And as Jana and I were talking about this, this webinar, we were having a conversation and we were talking about the fact that the beginning of the new year is really a great time to kind of change our mindset around Book Creator. A lot of people look at Book Creator as a great idea or tool for a project that might end in October or November. And so it's kind of like we do all of the work and then we put it all together and we make a really cool book later on. And what I think is really interesting and powerful is using Book Creator throughout, right? So a lot of times we don't think about that, but if I did a vocabulary notebook or if I have my students documenting the process of learning all the way up to that final product, then a lot of times that learning is more important than whatever it is that they came up with at the end. So I love the idea of using Book Creator as a way to, document that learning and use it whether it's daily or weekly or whatever, but using it a little more often for other academic things, not just those projects. All right. So I absolutely love that. And then, of course, down here at the very bottom, there are other blog posts and things like that that you're going to absolutely love when it comes to back to school. Now, that was for teachers. And of course, if you're a coach, you can use all of that stuff too. But we do have a special section for coaches. And if we scroll down on the coaches page, you're going to see three books here that are really fantastic. So, Janet, do you want to talk about the toolkit book?
Yeah, so this again is another time saver for everyone, and who doesn't need to save time, right? But what this is this is just a big compilation of resources that are going to make your job easier when you're training others. And so you can kind of see here, they've even put in a little table of contents that are going to kind of make it an easy map for you to kind of pick what you're looking for. But there are just tons of different examples in here about how you can take Book Creator, which is so powerful as a standalone, but when you start hooking it to your content, that's really where you're going to get the bang for your buck. And so here, there's just example after example, and there are links that you can click on that will take you deeper. There are links that will take you to other resources. And as you can see, it is just, they've done such a great job putting together just a wide variety so that you can easily find something that's going to work for your audience.
Absolutely. Thank you, Janet. And then there's one, if we have any here, administrators on the accounts. And I'm not necessarily meaning, administrators that are principals or anything like that, but administrators on a school purchase or a district purchase. We do have some information here for you as well. And then for teachers who are total newbies, right? And they need to know a little bit more, we do have a Welcome to Book Creator for Teachers book. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at those. And again, there's some extra blog posts and things like that that are very fantastic. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at all of those resources. Okay, now Janet and I, when we were putting this together, we were thinking about this too. It's so silly, right? Because a lot of our new features are like big bang whiz, like really amazing things. But we thought we'd kick it off with something that's really so tiny. But if you're somebody like me who has said the same thing 7,000 times over the last few years, a change like this is huge. The plus button has changed. All right. And it does. Like I did my first webinar the other day after this change, and my brain like literally fell apart, right, for a second because I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I can't say what I normally say. So if you are used to the plus button, it is different now. All right. And we're going to talk a little deeper about this. But as you can see here in the picture, when you click the plus button, it no longer says media first. It says tools because we felt that this better described what you were actually going to pick here, right? These are the tools that you can use within Book Creator. And then the next tab over is the media tab, right? What are the other media things that you can add into your books? All right. And those include things like templates, shapes, icons, files, and embed. And again, we're going to talk a little bit more about these a little later. But we just thought we want to get this out of the way right away and just say the plus button has changed along with something else. All right. And again, this was a very subtle change with huge impact. So, Janet, when you want to talk, and I'll be curious, Janet, what you call this, because as a company, I don't think we actually named this thing. And so, Janet, go ahead and tell me about this new change.
So this new change is it's simple. Again, it's not complex, but it's powerful. So before, when you wanted to see the members of your library, there was a little drop down menu right on the left hand side. But now they've shifted everything to the middle, and you can not only see the books in your library in one view, but now you can click on the little people and you will see a drop down menu that will list everyone that has joined your library. And not only that, but you're going to be able to see the books that each one of those students in your library has created. And to me, that is a powerful look right there. Something else that you may have noticed as well is that there is a test student underneath your name as the teacher now. So you're able to go in and sign in as a student and actually see it from that perspective. So I want to point that out. Just FYI though, if you click that, you will have to go back and sign in again as your teacher self. You cannot toggle between the two. So just a heads up on that. And then also they've made it very easy, as you can see out beside each student, you can now easily promote them to a co-teacher if you have someone that you want to give that position to, and also remove the user very quickly there. So they've kind of shifted everything there just to make it more of a clean view, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Life altering. Yes, life altering. I would agree. Good question here. Will an updated official student tutorial be made and shared on YouTube? So I have to laugh. One of our most popular videos in the history of Book Creator was a video that our marketing director's daughter made showing how to use Book Creator, and it has been viewed like millions of times. I am not taking any offense to the fact that none of my videos have been viewed that much. But that's a great question. And I can honestly tell you that I don't know the answer to that. But Katie is here, and Katie is one that would be working with the team to do things like that. So maybe a student tutorial is in the future. But as Randy is also posting here, you can definitely check out the students, my portfolio from this. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a different answer. But there's also a portfolio view that you can see from here that we will discuss in a little bit as well. All right. But yeah, so maybe we'll get some more student tutorials and things like that to put on YouTube because that tutorial was made quite a while ago. So yeah. All right. Yeah, she's increased her rates. I bet she has. Okay, now this page right here, Janet and I, we were really, tossing this around as an idea. So what we're about to share, we want to share with caution. All right, and the reason that we want to share this with caution is because we realize that there are lots of different um, access points for Book Creator. All right. You might be on the free version. You might be on your own paid version. You might be on a school building that purchased a certain amount of licenses. And you might even be on a district purchase where everybody in your district has access to Book Creator. And each one of those has its own great things, but also some limitations. All right. And so as we are sharing these new features, we are going to make sure that we tell you which is available for free, which has free stuff and not free stuff, and which one is totally not free. All right. So we're going to make sure that we kind of hammer through all of those. And the first one that we are going to talk about is our brand new page templates. And I saw Janet, she was like, yee. So guess what, Janet? You get to talk about it. All right. So I saw Janet, she got super excited about page templates. So Janet, go ahead and let me know what you've got here and tell me when you want me to flip the page and I will do it.
Perfect. So, one thing that we are extremely excited about is that just this week has gone live 800 plus page templates. Now, before we were calling them graphic organizers, but in 800, it has expanded way beyond that. With the release of our student portfolio option and other factors in our team just being so brilliant, they have just come out. I couldn't even think of 800 things, but they have been working so hard to really listen to teachers and listen to what their needs are and really think forward, that they have released now 800 page templates. Now, to get the 800, that is going to be a premium license, but there are free ones as well if you were on that free version. So when you go in, and you're going to go to that plus sign, and under media, it's going to be templates right there. Now, before it was under plus, more, and you had to add graphic organizers. So they've made this a lot easier for you. So when you go into templates, it will actually drop down this menu that you see here. And that is going to give you so many different categories. Of course, when you have 800 templates, you need some form of organization to make it doable, manageable. And so it's possible when you're looking through these categories that you're going to find the same one in multiple categories. And that, again, is just for the ease so that you don't have to go find one specific place in the 800. They've tried to think what could be used across the curriculum, what could be used in different areas. And underneath the graphic organizers, you're going to see all different kinds of things from planning to writing to specific content areas. But then you're going to be able to go a little further and go down to the portfolios. You're going to just see different layouts, which used to only be in the comics. And then you're going to see a comics factor as well. So now you're able to kind of pull those in and out of books instead of just having to stay in one or the other. And I encourage you to just go in here and just look around because it is just breathtaking how bright and beautiful and fun they are. But to teachers, we know the value of this because this is going to allow you to offer a little bit of scaffolding for your students to keep them again on target. This is great for those students that their minds wander easily. This can really keep them focused. But again, the power is in that plus button with them being able to go in and respond to this, whether they're using the speech to text or the camera or recording their voice. And that's really the way that you're going to power up what was once a flat organizer, flat on a page. Now it can come to life and really capture their evidence of the learning.
And
And that
Janet, I want to piggyback on that for a second too, because I think there's a lot of power in that, right? Because if I'm a student, all right, and a teacher hands this to me, all right, and I have trouble reading or I have trouble writing or spelling, and somebody says, okay, attraction number one, explain what's great about this attraction. Like I might freeze up and say, I don't know what's awesome. And we'll pretend like the Eiffel Tower is in here or something like that. I don't I don't know how I want to write that. All right. And so then the problem happens, or what happens next then is teachers sometimes will look at that and be like, well, this kid doesn't know anything about the topic. And we just assume incorrectly, right, that they don't know anything about the topic. And like Janet said, if I click the plus button, now my student can record their voice and say, here's what's great about this attraction, or put a video in there, or draw a picture, or circle something right on the image of what is awesome about this attraction. And so just getting kids to understand that these page templates, these graphic organizers are not boring and static, right? That they can be multimedia filled, I think is a very powerful idea that's going to really bring out something from your students, right? It's really going to bring that internal motivation and energy out of your students. So I really love those. And I also just wanted to point out too quickly that when you go to templates, like Janet said, if you type in free and hit search, then all of these ones that pop up will not have that little crown icon on them that say premium. So if you are looking for some free ones, there are quite a bit, right, of free ones in there. So you're going to have plenty of time and plenty of things to play around with if you're on the free version. Okay?
And one more thing about that, John, is don't forget that all of these can be edited. So if you
Yes.
go in and you find one that you like the overall look and the layout of, you're able to click on that. It may appear to be locked, but again, if you right click on it, you can unlock that, and then you're able to go in and change the wording or the prompt that is on there for your students so that it is specific to what works for your students in your lesson that you've been teaching.
Absolutely. Yeah, the page templates are absolutely phenomenal. And I just completely forgot as I inserted one that we already had some in there. But yes, like reading response. Okay. Um, I have to admit, my daughter, she came home from open house, and one of the things that they're doing in fifth grade is a 40 book challenge. Okay. And I first of all cringed because I couldn't imagine reading 40 books immediately because like I'm not the fastest reader. So I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot of books. But my daughter was like through the roof excited about this. And then when I showed her this specific page template, she went even more bonkers, right? Because she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do all of this in Book Creator. And she already put two and two together and was like, at the end of the year, I'm going to have a documentation, a portfolio of everything that I read, along with my summaries and my voice and all that stuff. And all I did was like, hey, look, here's a reading response one, right?
Love it.
So many options. My youngest daughter, I know we're going to be utilizing this one a ton, read alouds. She's going into second grade this year. I will refrain Randy from telling the story again because I tell it every single time. But Randy really helped my daughter get better at reading by offering up some awesome templates and some ideas. And so anyway, I know we're going to be using this one this year. This one's super awesome. And somebody had mentioned earlier as one of the activities right away from the beginning of school year is developing goals for the year. Whether you're developing goals for the entire year or even just the first 9 weeks or tomorrow, whatever, it's important that we have a place to put those down because if you write your goals down, and put them somewhere, you're more likely to complete those goals, right? Not just saying, oh, yeah, I need to lose weight, and then all of a sudden forget about it, right? Like write it down, be intentional about it, and be able to go back and look at it. So I think these are very powerful. I love these different ones. And I absolutely love this one too, because I never would have thought about this. But just being able to record your math facts on video, it shows you, you can see your face, you can hear yourself doing the math facts. So repetition, repetition, repetition. I think that is really, really powerful.
And John, one more thing about that video is a great way to capture evidence. So if you as a teacher are having to go into a referral meeting or a parent teacher conference, if this is something that you've already put in as a station that they're doing every week, and you're capturing that as the year goes along, then you have that evidence already. You're not having to gather a lot of things, it's already right there. And also, you're able to track that progress as you go along throughout the year. So, something as simple as this is so, again, so powerful. It's just the way that you use it in your classroom.
Absolutely. And the same, I would say the exact same thing about the read aloud as you're documenting like fluency and comprehension. Numbers only mean so much, right? And so when I hear a teacher say to me that your daughter went from a 6 to a 12, like yes, I can logically understand that 6 to a 12 is an improvement, but what does that really mean, right? I don't really know. And so being able to hear that, hear the difference between a 6 and a 12 might be huge, right? And so that I think is very powerful. Yeah, absolutely love that. All right. The next one is the text editor. All right. And so we're going to talk briefly about our text editor because we've had some really awesome updates to the text editor. So you're just going to simply click the plus button, you go to the tools and you click on text, and then a text box is going to pop up. And then we've got some really awesome things in there. I think one of the biggest ones, though, is this button right here, and that is the translate button. So, Janet, you want to talk a little bit about the translate button?
Yeah, sure. This is so powerful for a teacher. If you have those students who are not native English speakers, then you, as a teacher, can now put a piece of text on a piece of paper in the English, and then underneath it, change it to whatever language you need to very easily just by clicking this button down here at the bottom. And then you'll be able to choose from all of the different languages here. And we have such a wide variety, and it's so simple. You just click on it and then click that blue translate button, and it does the work for you. So again, a very easy way for you to make it multilingual is to just go ahead and put it in English and then copy and paste that same text box and drag it down underneath it, and then just hit the translate on that second box, and then you have it both languages on the same page in just seconds.
Absolutely. And that translate option is a few other places. So we may get time to get to all of those different places, but translations is very powerful. We've also had some updates to our library settings. So when you create a library, there are some options that pop up, and most of these have been there for a long time. So I think we all know about them. But there's a couple that we really want to chat about. All right. And the first one is this one right here. It says create multiple books. Now, I always laugh when I see this one because I'm sitting there thinking my initial thought is, why wouldn't I want my kids to create multiple books? How awesome is that? If they're that excited about school, then yes, do it, right? However, there are plenty of students who are in my photosynthesis library, and once they are done with their photosynthesis book, are so excited about Book Creator that all of a sudden they're making books about their grandma or their mom or funny cats or dogs or zoo animals or whatever. All right. And again, that's fantastic. But when I'm a teacher and I'm trying to go in there and I'm trying to focus on photosynthesis books, I do not want to see little Johnny's grandma book. All right. So I want to focus only on the photosynthesis. So if you have rambunctious and overly excited children and you want them to kind of tone it down a minute, all right, you can click right here where it says create multiple books and you can give them options. Yes, multiple books are okay. Or only one, only two, three, four, or five. So you can limit the number of books that a student can make. Now, all joking aside, I do also think this is important because if you are a teacher that has a lot of kids, right, in your class, and most people don't know that there is a 200 book limit per library. If you've got 30 kids in your class, right, and all of a sudden it's free reign, you may run out of room in that library very quickly. And then kids who are also in that library cannot make books, right? So you may want to limit it just from that standpoint alone. So that is really important. Another one. I guess I think maybe we brought it up with another topic coming up later, but we'll bring it up later. So
Did. And another thing, if you've ever had to go in and clean that up, you know what a valuable tool that is as a teacher.
100%. All right, Janet, why don't you talk a little bit about our literacy templates?
So speaking of time savers for and again on the teacher perspective part of this, our Discover Library has so many resources. Again, we have such a powerful team of designers and Randy and Katie, who are both here with us today. They're such powerful content creators. They have done a lot of the work for you. So, whether it is the science of reading that you're needing, or STEM, or whatever you have, we have lots of templates that are ready to go. All you have to do is go there, remix it. Um, I say here in Alabama, get it like you like it, and then push it out to your students. But these are really, really, really powerful because you can not only stand or pull your kids to the carpet and teach from these books in a small group situation with your students, but you're also going to be able to then send them back to their seats, make them their own copy, and then get that individual feedback for what they retained. So this can be used in so many different ways, but we have lots. Literacy is such a hot topic right now all across the United States and in other places as well. And also for your multilingual learners, this is going to be, you know, foundational support for them. And we have the alphabet books all the way up. I've put a little link there to a literacy library where you can just go in and see just a list of everything from phonemic awareness all the way up to comprehension strategies and everything in between. So these are here free for the taking. I encourage you to go and take a look at these. And then it's what you do with these as an educator that is really the valuable part of it.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of which, if we go to our next page, we're going to talk about assigning these. All right. So a lot of these templates, and I did see a question that got thrown in here. Hollis, I would love to use these resources, make resources for my school, my library, teachers. Absolutely. A lot of the books in Discover, all right, here at the top, under the student templates and all these various categories, all of these can be copied right into your own library so that you can do something with it. As an example, here's that back to school book that we talked about at the very beginning. All right. And at the very beginning, I told you you can copy it right into your library. There it is. And now the next feature that was on our page said we can assign that book to our students. So in the past, students had to make copies. Students had to hope they put it in the right library. Teachers had to hope they put it in the right library. And then they were able to edit that copy. We've taken away that little hurdle. So now all that you have to do as a teacher is create the template, bring the template in wherever you get it from, click the share button and say assign book. And when you click assign book, you can either allow everybody that is in your library to have a copy, or you can change it. So if I wanted to, I can differentiate this and give copies of this book to specific students. And then you just hit start assignment. And now you'll see that little icon pop up. And every student that joins your library automatically gets a copy of this book that they can now edit. It does not mess up the original. It does not mess up anybody else's. It just uses or edits their own book. All right. Now, that being said, there's another feature that I almost kind of spilled the beans on, but I want to talk about it now. This is great until you have a class with 30 kids in it. All right. And then as soon as you hit assignment and all 30 of those kids join your library, this book is going to pop up 30 times. All right. And Janet just did one right there, right? She just came in the library. There's her book. All right, which is awesome. She's automatically got a copy. Look at that. It even has her name on it. So she can go in here and mess with it. But when you have 30 kids who do that at the same time, you are going to literally watch a classroom full of children have a meltdown. All right, because they're going to be like, where's my book? Right? Even though it has their name at the bottom, they're going to freak out because all this stuff just happened. So one of our favorite features in that library setting is this button right here that says read each other's books. If you turn this off, then when you do that assignment, the only book they are going to see is your book and their book, and that is it. All right. So I love that toggle button, especially at the beginning. Stop the freak out, let
Yeah.
everybody do their own thing. And then when everybody's done, if you want to flip that thing back on so that everybody can see each other's work, great. All right. But initially, especially with assignments, Janet and I really like to turn that off. Okay.
Yes, one more little teacher tip that we didn't even put on a slide, but just FYI, I've learned this over time. As soon as they get their copy of that template, have them go ahead and add a selfie to the front cover. If they will just add the picture of themselves to that front cover, it makes it so much easier for you as the teacher to go in, and you will be able to see everybody's book even though the students will not. And so you will be able to spot each student's book very easily. If you'll just have them add their picture to that front cover, you can go and grab those really simple.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about translate text a little bit, but there's actually more to translation than just text. And so we're going to talk about this kind of quickly. But the translate text, we already showed you, fantastic, works amazing. I also think it's a really great way to make sure that it actually says what you think it says, right? So it's a great learning tool. It's not just a crutch to get rid of, thinking. I like doing this to help kids understand that maybe there's a little bit that got lost, right, in the translation. That's important to talk about. But there's also translation of audio, and this is mind-boggling to me. All right, so you can literally make a recording of your voice in whatever language you speak, have that audio button show up on the page, and then you can click on the audio button, click the inspector, and change the audio into one of those 138 languages. And what's even more awesome is that when you click on the play button, it sounds amazing. So I'm going to demo this real quick because I absolutely love this. I know you can see the Giphy going on in the background. The boy walked to the park and ate a sandwich. All right, I'm going to click that. I'm going to use it. There's my audio button right there at the top. All right, boy walked to the park, ate a sandwich. If I click on the audio, I think it'll work. You can hear it. The boy walked to the park and ate a sandwich. All right, so cool, great. I speak English, I teach English, fantastic. But if I have a student who comes in who only speaks Spanish, that's not very helpful, even if it's audio. So I click the inspector, I click translate, and it needs some kind of text. So because the video's in English, I'm going to choose English and generate some text. So it's going to generate that little transcript to go with it. In a second or two, it's going to be there. Once the text is there, I can edit the text if I need to. If it looks great, cool. I hit choose language, choose Spanish, choose a voice, and hit translate. Now, what's awesome about this is it does not get rid of the original. I keep the original. I have a new translation here, and if I click on the little the speech bubble at the bottom, you can see the text that goes with it. And when I click the play button,
Antecedentes, el niño caminó hasta el parque y comió un sándwich.
All right, so absolutely love this because it sounds so cool, right? It's not like that awful robot voice that a lot of people like to hear, right? I don't like that. This sounds legit. I think this is really, really powerful. So anyway, love that.
The thing is you can change the color on those so that English can be in one color and then the other language can be in a different color. And that way they can also distinguish between that very easily.
Absolutely. Very good idea. All right. Now, if that wasn't enough, all right, this is kind of a mic drop moment when it comes to translate. Yes, right there, you can see it. There is the ability to translate an entire book. So if you write your entire book in whatever language you want to write it in, and then you've got students who come in to your class and they don't speak that language, you can literally hit the button, the share button, or I'm sorry, the book button at the bottom and hit translate book, and it will translate the entire book in one shot. That is phenomenal. All right. So, and I love that also as a great parent communication tool. So super, super awesome. All right. Question. When you translate an entire book, does it just translate the text or does it translate the text and audio? Great question. It
Mhm.
translates all of the text throughout the book, except text that might be attached to an image. A lot of times people will bring in an image that has some text on it. It will not do that, but it will translate all of the text throughout the rest of the book. It will not translate the audio. You still have to do that kind of separately, but you're still saving a ton of time, right? Just by translating that book. So you still got to translate the audio buttons. But yeah, great question. Okay, this feature, Janet, I'm going to let you have this one. This feature is one of those features that comes with a district purchase only, okay? But if you're listening and you hear this and you think that sounds pretty cool, then that's maybe something you might want to talk to your district about, because I saw somebody, and I don't remember who it was, that said that they make books for professional development. It sounded like there might have been a library for professional development. So, Janet, I think central libraries might be the answer here.
Yeah, I agree. Central libraries is something that a district can choose to switch on, and if they choose to do that, then it will still, when you go into your teacher dashboard, it will have your books at the top, your shared books, but at the bottom there's going to be a separate ribbon that will be just for your district, and there will be someone designated in your district that will have the ability to go in and load in resources that would then be available to everyone within your district. So we have a lot of districts that will use that for powerful exemplars, or they find a template like all of their literacy templates. They will vet those out and then put those there, so it's easy access for teachers to go in and then make a copy of it and pull it from those central libraries into their own personal teacher libraries, and then do what John's been showing you with the assign the book feature. So you know, you as a district have control over how you organize that or what resources you choose to pull into that. So it can be PD, resource library. A lot of districts that we work with build in their teacher PD within Book Creator. And so this is a way to have it in a nice one-stop shop where you can find it easily. So that is one definite, as a former tech specialist and someone that worked with literacy coaches, this was a great idea, just to be able to have things that are there that we have approved as the district, to have them in front of teachers so that they're not constantly searching back through an email for a link that was shared to them once upon a time. They are able to go there and find things in a very organized way and pull from those resources, whether it be by quarter or whether it be by year or by unit.
Yep, absolutely. Reading curriculums, elementary report cards. I mean, I've seen it all, right, in those central libraries. And another new feature that we just had released is student portfolios. Okay. And again, this is something that is only available to district customers. But I also just want you to kind of think about portfolios in general. All right. Because some of you might be thinking, huh, bummer, right? Like I can't use this because I don't have district access. Well, you can use Book Creator for portfolios. And we have seen a lot of schools and teachers do that, right? Where Book Creator is fantastic, right? For being able to document learning, being able to see growth. But the one thing that has always kind of been missing is what happens from year to year. And so, generally speaking, Book Creator is a great portfolio tool until I leave Janet's class and I go to Katie's class. And Katie wants to see my books, because then Janet and Katie have to kind of coordinate. Somebody has to copy books over. I have to copy books over as a student. Becomes a little bit of a headache. And so what we have done with student portfolios is give the ability for a teacher to move a book from their library into a student portfolio, and then that portfolio will now travel with the student K through 12. So instead of the book being attached to a library and a library being attached to a teacher, the book, the portfolio is now attached to the student, and it will then move. Now, it is not every book. You just have to move it into a portfolio section. But I think that is going to be a great feature for districts who are using Book Creator for portfolios. I know that Janet and I, we were in a meeting not too long ago, but there are a lot of states that are implementing portfolio requirements for their students. So we really do think that the portfolios is really going to be powerful and very important. Now, as we move on, because I know we're over time, so if you have to leave, this is gonna be like a lightning round for the last couple pages. The Discover page, fantastic. We are updating that constantly with awesome new features and updates and templates, so take a look at that. But also on that page, there's a big flashing button over to the far right that says what's new. All right, so if you see that, click on it and you're gonna see a bunch of new stuff. And once you've seen it, that little big flashing button goes away. But there is a little megaphone there, and you just have to click on the megaphone and you get to see what's popping up. All right, we talked about the district tools toolkit and schools and districts. Take a look at that. Katie has done some amazing stuff. Katie is silently in the background doing amazing stuff and putting a bunch of stuff in the chat window. But Katie is amazing, and she did some awesome STEM template books, so definitely check those out. They are all in this book, okay? Stay up to date with all the latest. Website, Twitter, Instagram, become part of our community and join our community program. If you go to our website and click on that community button, there's going to be more. But we just want to say thanks, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it. And if there's any questions that we missed, Katie, let us know and we'll answer those. But thanks, everybody. Be safe out there and happy bookmaking.
Bye, everybody.
All right, I'm going to look here and see if there's anything we missed.
I think there was one question at the very beginning. I mentioned the selfie tool. And in those templates, when you click in the box, there will be a little plus button that will automatically take them straight to the camera. And that's what I call the selfie tool, just because it's built in right there on the page. And that's what I meant by that.
Great. And Nicole, where do we find those literacy books? A lot of them are linked into this book right here. Katie, while I'm explaining this, if Katie can throw in the link to this book again, that would be great. But also, if you click the 3 black lines, go to your teacher dashboard, Nicole, right here at the top, it says Discover. All right, and so here we've got some back to school, teacher first lesson STEM, but then there's a little white arrow. And if you click on that, then it says alphabet books. And if you click on alphabet books, there's a whole bunch of foundational literacy stuff here. And if I go back, there's also under Discover and our literacy templates, there's a whole bunch of stuff here as well. So things like notebooks and some of those alphabet books as well. The Zoom, this video will be available on YouTube. So Tanya, if you need a copy of this, you can just go and visit that. There is not a certificate of attendance for attending our webinar today. Unfortunately, within our system, we do not have easy capability to just auto-generate those certificates. So our apologies for that, but we do appreciate you all for being here. That is a feature request that I know that we are looking into. So we are trying to find a way to do that hopefully in the future. All right, I have to get off of here to go to another webinar and a meeting. So thanks, Janet, for being here. Thanks, Randy. And Katie, thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. Have a great day.